I hope you've all had a great summer. I've had the opportunity to visit with some of you at summer camp this summer, not as many as I would have hoped, but I've been watching some great adventures from Scouts BSA units as well as Cub Scout packs all through Facebook and other social medias. So it's been great to see some of the adventures that all of you have been having throughout the summer. And it's really good to see all of the fall startup activities already raring into gear. We've got a great agenda for you tonight. We're going to talk about a number of things, the new registration fee. We're going to talk about membership. I'm going to give you an update on the bankruptcy. We're going to chat about the new UMC affiliation agreements. Wouldn't be fall without talking about popcorn. And we've had a number of questions come in from all of you. We're going to give you some updates about some upcoming fall programming, and obviously take as many of your questions as we possibly can as well. So we're really excited to have you all here with us tonight. Thanks for all you do for Scouting. We're so appreciative for everything you do to make a difference in the lives of every Scout that you have the opportunity to influence. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my esteemed colleague who's joining us from his vacation in Hawaii today, Robert Nakagawa, for our first topic.
Thank you, Pat. First topic, membership fee increase. It's something that we talked for many months about as a Key 3 board, multiple subcommittees. And as you're all aware, as we shared, there is a new membership fee increase, but how we came to this was not an easy decision. It came to the full board after executive committee and budget committee meetings. And it didn't pass unanimously. You need to know that the board did meet. I believe the final vote was like 15 for and 7 against. So it wasn't something we took lightly, but things that we had to consider was membership is the main thing. And as strange as that sounds, to raise a membership fee could be discouraging for new Scouts to join. The most important thing, if you've heard me speak at summer camp, was our staffing, but not just staffing professionally at summer camp, but staffing professionally year round with our district executives, but staffing even as volunteers. Our volunteers are by far the most important thing we have as our front line, rubber meets the road, visiting and working and running the actual units. So you'll notice that there has been no increase at all on our adult volunteer registration fees, because we think that's the most important thing to be able to run effective units. The second thing that we need is staff. And if you've been in certain districts, you know that we've been vacant staff for 10 months, some maybe longer, but some design. But Paul's been working diligently hard to try to hire staff, and we've not been able to hire staff for over 10 months in at least the 2-base district. And we've had maybe a couple candidates, but they both exited the interview basically stating that they wouldn't do it for less than 50. We are not at the position that we can offer 50 at this point, but we did increase the membership fee so that we can be a little more competitive in our hiring of district executives and hopefully retention of our district executives. We also have included an additional $14,000 to assist families so that no Scout gets left behind. There's a new application process for that, but we want to make sure that every young man and young woman that has the opportunity to join the Scouting program also has the opportunity to be offset with assistance to individuals. There is a special form now that we're using, and it's tied in with the United Way as well, so that in the future we hope to be able to generate additional support and resources for any families that we can get subsidy from, or for, I should say. So we are at a point now to looking at budgeting purposes. We looked at our Friends of Scouting, our special events, and all the other numerous vehicles that we generate revenue, including popcorn. And you might be surprised that only 16% of our families contribute to our Family Friends of Scouting campaign, and about 11% of our Scouts sell popcorn. So there isn't an even way for everybody to help share the load to pay for the cost of Scouting for us to do the business of it, where we have our district executives in the field. So long and hard, many discussions, came to the current membership fee, as you've seen in the previous email distribution on our Facebook page as well. But if there's any questions that you'd like to ask, that's kind of where we are and why we came to that. The registration fee is a lot more consistent and predictable as a source of revenue as well for us as an organization. And we went to the dollar amount that after much deliberation. So I don't know if there's any questions that we can field particular to that.
Robert, there was a couple of questions in the chat related to this. One is, have we explored writing grants to subsidize some of the registration expenses? And in the same question, are individual PACs at liberty to form a nonprofit so that the PACs can write grants at their level?
So grants are not available or shouldn't be available to PACs. They need to, or troops. They should be fundraising in other ways. You need to fill out a unit money earning application. We are able to subsidize our unit registration fees, I should say scout registration fees, with the money that we're setting aside. We even had money set aside before. We want to make sure that we can take care of any of those families that need the assistance. There was the grants, and yes, we've also explored looking at writing for grants. Grants are very specific to programs. And that again is tied into why we have the new form to fill out with regards to assistance to individuals, because some of the data that we'd like to collect in making our decisions on how we support and subsidize our scouts with financial aid provides us data that any foundation, grant, United Way is looking for that we currently don't have, to be able to solicit for some of those foundations and grants for assistance to individuals.
Awesome. And there's a comment from Dean Grabowski about the fees pricing out families now more than ever. And I think Robert's comment about the assistance that we've put aside for families struggling with the fees is really important. So if you could just reiterate some of that, Robert. One of the things we were incredibly careful about was putting money aside for families who couldn't afford the new fees. So could you just reiterate that one more time?
So yes, we have $14,000 set aside on top of what we had in the past. So I think it's now over $25,000 available for assistance to individuals within our traditional units. So there's a form that we had to modify again so that we are better able to write for grants going into the future. We definitely want to be able to take care of any families that are in free and reduced meals, or what is called, Paul, help me out, the term that the United Way uses.
Alice
families, where both parents are working and are still not able to make ends meet. So, but any way we can, we want to make sure that we support our scouts and our families to be able to participate in this program.
And where do units find that form, Robert?
Paul has that. I think it's on the website, but it's going to be emailed and it's going to be used also for our membership kickoff. So we'll have that form readily available on our website as well.
Yes, we can get that form put on the website. To answer Dean's question, so it's put $195 for Scout to join. It's $123 a year plus a $25 new member joining fee. And with that, it's still only $10.25 a month. So when we're talking to new families, let's not put a huge number out there. It's $10.25 a month, and there is financial assistance available. For the question about PACs writing fees or writing for grants, you can write us for a grant. We've been offering registration assistance for 3 years now and have struggled to give it out. We've been offering our services to families to join scouting, not just to join scouting, but to stay in scouting. And so please let us know if your families need that assistance. We are here to help, and that's what we continuously raise money for. We write grants for registration fees through all our United Ways, through all of our grantors, asking for that help. So please let us know if you need it. That's what we're here for.
George, that's a great question. Can you pay each month instead of one lump sum? Keep hearing $10 a month, but that's not how it requires to pay. Currently, the system's not set up that way through the online registration portal, even for us. That's something that we could explore, possibly explore as a board as far as looking at collecting $10 a month. But that would be an administrative challenge, I think, for us to be able to send billings or invoices for each of the scouts or families per month, or be on some kind of payment plan. However, we are able and willing, and we'll talk about it as well with our popcorn. We'd love to be able to help all our units raise the funds. And as we visit with some units, they have funds in their own treasury that they could help do that as well. And we'd love to help units develop a treasury that they can help do that as well, so that they can support their families, cover it with recharter, and then easily collect the funds monthly as dues from each of your scouts.
Yeah. Just to answer some more questions real quick. The registration fee page on DMVC is getting 404 error. Thank you for letting us know. We will get that updated as soon as possible, as well as under the Scouts BSA section, it still says $33. We will get that updated or deleted as soon as possible. Can we pay $10? Robert asked that. I wish you could. Trust me, I really do. And there are local organizations and grants available to us, but must have a nonprofit account. So again, let us know. We can definitely help out with that. Units under our fiscal, financial and fiscal policies, units are not allowed to go after grants and donors. Your charter organization can to help out because most charter organizations are nonprofit, but the unit itself cannot, because again, you're using your charter organization's EIN number. So you need to work through them and also work through us. So thank you.
Well, thanks, Paul. I think that brings us to the end of questions in the chat around council registration fees. Next up is an update on membership growth. And we were slated to have that update from our council commissioner, who unfortunately could not be with us tonight. So Paul is going to be his trusty steed and offer that update for us. So Paul, take it over.
Thanks, Pat. I'll do my best Steve impression that I can. Great news. We are currently working on 8 months of membership growth. We've already had our membership growth for August, looking to keep that going through September, October, November, and December. And that's where we can use your help. It's we want to continue this upward trend of membership. We know we've had the past 2-3 years have not been the greatest for us, but the ball's rolling in the opposite direction. So let's keep it rolling that way. Let's keep the momentum going. There's 4 things that every adult volunteer can help out with. And as we talked about the membership fee increase, you saw it was only added to youth because we know how important our adult volunteers are. And that's why there's no fee increase added to them. But with that, with going back into schools, a lot of school districts are letting us back into the schools to do school talks, classroom to classroom, lunchroom. Each school is a little bit different. If you have a personal connection with the principal to the schools that you recruit from, whether it's your own child that goes to that school or whether they're just a friend or you've known them for a while, please help us. Every district executive is out there right now trying to set principal meetings. And as you know, principals are very busy. They're this time of year as well, just getting school started, getting teachers in place, making sure all the buses are running. There's a lot on their plate. So if you can help us get 10-15 minutes to sit down with the principal to talk about our fall recruitment plan, that'd be greatly appreciated. Work through your local district executive, work through me, through Robert. Let us know how we can or when we can meet with the principal and talk about the fall recruitment campaign. The second thing is visibility. As we're coming out and getting more and more youth to join, one of the big things that we have been investing in is visibility. Getting out to those fall festivals, getting out to community days, community events. That we had one this past weekend up in Wilmington on the riverfront. We had a great booth there and scouts talking about all the great things going on. And I think we got over 30 families to sign up saying that they were interested in joining scouting. So the more visibility, the better. We have the big 10 by 10 canopy, branded canopy tents. We have 13-foot feather flags. We have a 26-foot climbing tower. Visibility is a key part. The old marketing strategy said you need at least 7 impressions to get somebody to buy your product. Nowadays, it's probably over 1,000 impressions with social media and everything. So make sure you're posting on your Facebook pages, creating Facebook events, getting that visibility out there, and letting people know scouting is still around. That is one of the big keys. The other 2 things, every quarter, the national office surveys all scouts, all adult leaders, volunteers. They run surveys that's called Voice of the Scouts. So if you get that email, please fill it out because that's valuable feedback from us. And the latest feedback we've gotten from the mid-year Voice of the Scout surveys is the top 2 reasons people stay in scouting and the top 2 reasons that people leave scouting are the same thing. One is program. If it's a good program, they stay in scouts. And if it's not a good program, it seems like chaos. It's not organized. Number 1 reason people leave. Number 2 reason people stay, and the number 2 reason people leave is communication. They don't feel a part of the unit. They don't feel like they are a member of that pack or that troop or that den or that patrol. So including them in your communication, making sure you're getting regular communication out to those families, helping them feel a part of it. We've all been there, that first meeting that we walked into. And if somebody greeted us and say, hey, so glad you could be there, you felt more welcome than if you just walked in and all the parents looked and then looked back and continued on their conversation. So make sure we're helping our new families feel welcomed. And the last thing I'll say is we don't recruit youth. We recruit families in the scouting. Everybody knows this is a family program. So let's recruit families, recruit parents, youth, grandparents, everybody into scouting, because we know how great this program is. Looking forward to 9 months of growth, looking forward to a full year of growth when we hit December, but any and all help is greatly appreciated. And we will do anything that we can on our side to help you grow, to help you recruit, to help you move forward. So thank you much.
Thanks, Paul. There's a question in the chat around when we'll have the schedule for the school JSNs. Any info on that, Paul?
As soon as we know, you will know. As soon as that day is scheduled, you will know what day it is. So we make sure that your pack and your troop can be there to help us out. I'll say help us out, help you out. We're there to help you recruit kids, families, recruit families. Thanks, Pat.
Awesome. Any additional questions for Paul? Oh, one more just popped in. Could you please, a couple more. Who sets up, because I've heard nothing about anything about any inline in Dover yet.
So, Jim, the process for geofencing Facebook ads for unit recruiting events, you can work with your local executive. It's just creating the Facebook event and then promoting it. We'll be happy to help you with that. Before the national office offered a free geofencing service, they are no longer offering that. So the unit can geofence itself, or you can work with the council. Who sets that up? Again, if you have a connection to your local school, please let us know, help us get in touch with that principal. But right now, all our district executives have reached out to, and will reach out to all the principals in Dover. Our current professionals helping out is Brian and myself. And I know Brian has reached out to every superintendent in Dover, as well as reached out to every school, because I know he's been at the schools for the past 3 days. I've talked to him. So let Brian know which school you'd like to get set up, and we'll work as hard as we can to get it scheduled.
Excellent. Very good. I think there's a request for Hartley. Real-time feedback. All right. Well, let me give you all a quick update on the bankruptcy. Finally, we're starting to see some real progress with the bankruptcy. I'm going to give you a brief update on where we are. You may have heard much of this in the paper, so I'll try my best to summarize what is a fairly technical place that we're in at the moment with the bankruptcy, where we know more but not really all at the same time. And I'll try to summarize it in a way that's kind of layman's terms that everybody will understand. So at the end of July, the judge issued her opinion about the BSA's reorganization plan. And while that opinion was very, very long, if you read the whole thing, it was, I don't know, like 100 pages or so. It did not confirm the whole BSA plan in its entirety, although it was very, very favorable regarding all of the issues that are really the most relevant to local councils. So she didn't confirm every single element of the plan itself, but really all of the things that we care about as a local council were part of the elements of the plan that were approved by Judge Silverstein in her opinion. So the proceedings are not fully settled, but we're very optimistic because all the things we cared the most about were in the favorable opinion. She concluded that the releases of local councils and the chartered organizations were both necessary to the reorganization of the Boy Scouts and also fair to the holders of abuse claims. And in reaching that conclusion, the judge relied on a couple of different things. The negotiation over the amount of the local council's contribution. Remember, all of the 250 councils across the United States together unanimously agreed that every single council was going to provide meaningful contributions to a settlement for a victim's trust. And the negotiation over the amount of the local council's contribution to that settlement was one of the things that the judge relied very heavily on, as well as the structure of the formula of that settlement, which she believed really provided a path to the global settlement. And the fact that there was a unanimous local council participation, she believed was also a really compelling factor in her decision. She said that the local council contribution was a collective contribution made by the local councils for the benefit of all local councils, was arrived at after a year of mediation. The internal allocation was also negotiated to include global participation, which maximized, indeed made possible, the settling insurers' settlements. So she basically was saying, without all of the local councils participating like we did, the insurers would not have come together to do their part in the settlement. So she's really crediting the local councils with helping to move forward the rest of the BSA's reorganization settlement. She believed that the plan had gained overwhelming acceptance of the abuse claimants. It was over 85% acceptance from the abuse claimants, which she believed provided a path to payment of all of the abuse claims in full. And she approved, again, all of the aspects of the plan that are of the greatest concern to local councils. So after that, at the end of July, the BSA immediately began working on a new reorganization plan, which addressed the remaining parts of the plan that the judge didn't favorably opine on, and a confirmation order which was consistent with her opinion. And then on August 12th, they filed a revised plan, which incorporated all of the changes which the judge laid out in her opinion. And while some aspects of the plan have been modified in keeping with the judge's opinion and suggestions in her opinion, all of the aspects of the original plan that are the most relevant to us as a local council and to all of the chartered organizations that we partner with as a local council, including our local council settlement obligation, the chartered organization treatment, the nature and the scope of the protections of the chartered organizations, all of those things are unchanged in the second plan that the Boy Scouts put forward on August 12th. And about a week later, the judge held another conference, and a hearing is planned for September 1st, where they're going to discuss the new plan with all of the creditors of the bankruptcy proceeding, and then we'll go from there. So next steps, we will be prepared to fund the escrow account with the council's portion of the settlement trust. Probably early September, we'll be funding that portion of the settlement trust. If for whatever reason, the bankruptcy does not successfully settle, though we certainly believe we're on a clean path to it settling, if for whatever reason, the bankruptcy does not successfully settle, we would get anything that we put into that escrow account back with interest. That escrow account is held by a third party. It's not held by the Boy Scouts. So we would get all that back with interest. But it's put into an escrow account so that immediately upon the bankruptcy being settled, it can start to fund the victim's settlement account and be distributed appropriately to victims. So September 1st is the bankruptcy court order confirming the plan, we hope. In early September, assuming that happens, we would start funding the escrow account. And then the district court would then review the bankruptcy court's opinion. And then hopefully sometime in the fourth quarter, they would confirm the bankruptcy at a district court level. And then we would finally mark a closure to the bankruptcy proceeding. So hopefully we're looking at the end of 2022 as the end of the bankruptcy proceeding. So this has been a long road. It has had lots of twists and turns, but we are hopefully very close to a successful conclusion. But it's a really important time nonetheless. And it's important that we keep our eyes on the prize and continue to do everything we've said that we're doing, and that all of the local councils continue to be united in our commitment to, fund the victims' trust and to do everything that we've said we're going to do as part of this negotiation. So that's where we are. I know it's been a long journey. Thank you guys for sticking with us. And the most important thing you guys can do at a unit level is to continue providing phenomenal programs, continue delivering on the promise of scouting, and post the heck out of it on all your social media, so we flood the world with images about how powerful the scouting program is. It's very clear that this bankruptcy judge knew how important it was that scouting remain a vital force in the United States of America. She said that from the very beginning and has proved in her ruling that she is really committed to that. And I think that's a testament to everything that all of you do every single day. So keep up what you're doing every single day. Don't let this bankruptcy distract you from the mission. And I mean it. The best thing you can do is to really just take the great things you're doing and shout it from the rooftops and make sure everybody knows it. And that's what's really going to tie back to the membership thing, topic number 2. It's when people see the great things we do that other people want to join. And that's, nothing's more important than bringing more members so that we have more young lives that we can influence with the positive impact of our values. So I don't see any questions in the chat, but I'm happy to take any questions you may have on the process or where we are. Doesn't look like this is a topic anyone wants to talk about. I don't blame you. So, Paul, I think I'm going to hand it back to you for an update on the UMC affiliation agreements.
So, thank you, Pat. So for United Methodist Churches, if you haven't heard, they have come out with a new affiliation agreement. They released it in July, and they've given us 120 days to get this affiliation agreement signed. So basically, there's 3 different options with the United Methodist Churches. The first one's the affiliation agreement, which again, we sat down with our volunteer board and decided that the affiliation agreement is not something that we really want to partake in, because that gives all responsibility of all the United Methodist Church units to the council. And that means we're in charge of your bank account. We're in charge of your equipment, your assets, the insurance for your trailer would all then fall under the Delmarva Council. We want our local units to stay local. So with that, the other 2 options are to sign a facility use agreement with our United Methodist Churches, which I know a lot of units did last year when this first started to come to the surface, where we'll sign a facility use agreement with the United Methodist Church and then find another charter partner in that area to actually be the chartered organization. They'll be the one that owns the unit. They'll select the leadership, be in control of the assets, the money, those things that go along with being a chartered organization. The third option is just to leave the United Methodist Church altogether. And I know a lot of our units have great relationships with the United Methodist Church, so I don't think that's really an option for very many units. We do have a couple of United Methodist churches that have just said, no, we're going to continue to charter our units as we always have. We don't suggest that. Your United Methodist Church Conference doesn't suggest that, but if that's what you'd like to do, that's those United Methodist churches have that option to do that as well. If there's any questions about that, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself, to Robert, to Pat. We are here to help guide every unit through that. We have all the forms that are needed to transfer the assets, the number, the equipment, and all the applications. You do not need to fill out all new youth applications and all new adult applications when you get a new charter organization. It's just a quick change of the actual charter organization title. Get a facility use agreement signed, get a new bank account. I say it's easy. It's hopefully won't take a lot of work, and I have everything laid out. So depending on which option you like, I can just send you the folder of all the paperwork that needs to be filled out. So I see a couple of questions that have come in. So will council be finding the UMC units a new charter organization? Yes, we'll be working on new charter organizations. We have great relationships with all the Rotary clubs, Lions clubs, American Legions, VFWs. So yes, we will help find a new charter organization. If you don't have one already lined up, or if you don't know of any in the area, we can definitely help with that. The National Conference made it very clear that churches are not allowed to charter scouts. I understand. If we leave our United Methodist Church charter organization, do we get to keep our unit number and identify once charter elsewhere? Yes. So that's the one agreement with the United Methodist Churches, is when they sign the form of releasing all the assets and all the supplies and equipment, the unit number is the same thing. So it's all being released. It's a form that the national office had worked with the United Methodist Church to fill out. Most pastors that I've talked to at United Methodist churches already know it's coming. They sign it. The new charter organization signs it. So it's just a quick flip of everything. So make sure I get through these. If we leave, I answered that one. Are you saying that all United Methodist Troop Impact must find a new charter organization? That is correct. The United Methodist churches have gone to not chartering scouting at all. They are working through a facility use agreement at this time. So I know there's supposed to be some more updates coming out. I believe there's a meeting coming up September 8th. So if any new information comes out, I will let you know, but this is the information that had come out in July, giving units pretty much till the end of October to find that new chartered organization and get everything transferred over. And if you're not sure if your unit has already found a new charter organization, again, reach out, let us know. We know which units are already chartered to United Methodist churches. I think we have 32 charter partners. We have 32 United Methodist Church organizations left, charting a total of 61 units, I believe. And we've worked with getting several of those already, finding new charter organizations. Yep. We know about Troop and Pack 109, working on getting that. If our Methodist Church decides to continue, is that okay? Yes, that is up to them. If that's what they'd like to do. Any other questions about the United Methodist Church? Again, if there is, don't hesitate to reach out to me after this as well. I'll put my cell phone in the chat and my email address, so don't hesitate to reach out if you have any other questions or concerns. Robert, would you like to add anything to that, or?
I think you covered it very well.
Well, while you have yourself unmuted then, Robert, you want to talk about popcorn?
Sure, popcorn, one of my passions in life. This is a new campaign. If you haven't signed up or registered, you're still able to do that. You can get that through our DMVC Popcorn Forum on Facebook, or reach out to myself or Kelly Witt or even Paul Odom, and we can get you signed up and get some popcorn. Some exciting new things this year. Prices, well, not so exciting. Prices have increased due to inflation and the cost of product. However, at the same side, if you look at the silver lining, we still get the 73% commission off of that. So we will still be generating more revenue for the same or less effort in theory. Along with that, we have done a great job partnering with Trails End, and we have secured a lot of storefront locations that your unit just needs to register on the Trails End app, and you can sign up for some of these storefront locations. So we've made it as easy as possible for a scout unit or an individual scout or a family to get product, set up a booth in front of a store, sell the product, and turn the product back in. We have, as starting from last year, we took back all the product from our units, so no unit was left holding the bill. This year, we're doing the same thing. However, we are going to stick to the deadline a lot more strict. We're going to be a lot stricter on the deadline on receiving product back. We want to make sure we communicate that multiple times and keep all of our units aware that if they check product out, they have to return it back by our final date that we need it back, so that we can consolidate the orders and put our final unit order in. And again, our goal is to help all of our units raise as much money as possible. So it's pretty exciting. We've got a number of Acme's and Walmarts and Lowe's, a number of other locations that your units can sign up for, that we've already got the agreements in place with the stores to do that. So trying to make it as easy as possible for your unit, family, or patrol or whatnot to be able to fundraise using the popcorn method. History has shown that for some of our units and scouts, they're able to generate more than $60 an hour net to their unit or individual scout accounts. So it's a great opportunity, and that's per hour of effort. So lots of opportunities to generate revenue both online and in person via door-to-door or storefronts. and we still have the take order option as well.
So, just to add on to that real quick, one is we have outdone ourselves already this year with our show and sell. Last year we did a total of about $300,000 in show and sell. Right now we're at $297,000 with another month and a half to go before our final order. So we are 45 days ahead of where we were last year, selling about the same amount of popcorn. As Robert was talking about the storefront sales, we secured 6,061 hours of storefront sales, and only 2,049 of those hours have been booked. So there's still plenty of show and sells in every district that have already been secured by Trails End. So all you do is go in there and reserve it, and you can still you don't have to work with the store itself. You just reserve it, go set up in front of the store as usually would. If it's a local mom and pop shop that you sold at in years past, you still have access to those as well. For anybody who didn't make it to any of the popcorn kickoffs, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Kelly. We'll be happy to send that PowerPoint over to you that goes through all this. I don't want to redo the popcorn kickoff. Kelly did a great job with that. The other thing to remember is popcorn arrives tomorrow. So arrives to the council office tomorrow, and we will be distributing it either tomorrow afternoon or Thursday, depending on what district you're in. So you should have received an email from Kelly today about where you're getting your popcorn, or yesterday, where to pick up popcorn from. So if you didn't receive that, please reach out to her. Go to Facebook, go to our DMVC Popcorn Forum Facebook page, and let us know, and we'll be sure to get you popcorn. If you haven't ordered popcorn yet, we have plenty, and we would love to give it to you. So just let us know, and we will get you popcorn as soon as you want it.
Popcorn's such a great opportunity for our young men and young women to earn their own way in scouting. But what it also does, Paul talked a lot about visibility. And if we're all doing our job, being out in the community, going door to door, standing in front of these 6,000 hours of storefront locations, we get a lot of visibility. And as parents or leaders, when my scouts are selling popcorn, I'm talking to parents about having their kids join the program. So it's an opportunity for all of us to be a lot more visible in the communities that we live and do scouting in. So popcorn, is a great fundraising opportunity, but it's also a visibility aspect that shows the community that scouting is still out and about and doing programs.
I'm amazed we've had that success with show and sell so far, Paul. I haven't seen one show and sell yet. So I got lots of popcorn money waiting to be spent. I just haven't found it yet.
Popcorn comes tomorrow, so you should see them Labor Day weekend.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I love the excitement that Paul and Robert can muster up about popcorn, that's for sure. Any questions about popcorn? I don't see any in the chat, but any questions about popcorn? Okay, well, I think, Robert, if I'm not mistaken, that brings us to the end of the formal agenda, right? Although we did have a request to cover some upcoming events. Is that accurate?
That's correct. I think, are we able to, Jim Demas wanted to share, can we add him on as a facilitator real quick on some of the upcoming activities and events?
Jim, I'm getting ready to allow you to talk. So there you go, Jim.
Hi, everyone. The event I wanted to talk about is Cub University, Saturday, October 8th at Rodney Scout Reservation. Our annual event to train our new and existing Cub Scout leaders, den leaders, committee members, Cub masters, other interested parents, as well as doing den chief training for the scouts that want to come back and help a pack by providing their knowledge and doing some recruiting to keep the kids interested in going into Scouts BSA. We're finalizing the course schedule, getting all the instructors in place so we can send the information to council and they can have the registration online. Again, it's Saturday, October 8th at Rodney. If you need flyers or anything else, please let me know. If you're interested in teaching a class about anything having to do with the Cub Scout program, first aid or the transition between Webelos and Scouts, any topic you can think of that you'd like our leaders to know, I'd be interested in having you as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. I am putting my contact information into the chat right now, so let me know if you can't see it. Hang on, let me hit enter. All right, let me know if you can't see that to the what I just put in the chat. I just put my cell phone and email address in there. So I continuously said tonight to feel free to email, call me, text me. I want to make sure that you have my contact information. So a couple of questions in there. Well, no, those aren't questions. Those are Jim putting those up.
Could I plug another upcoming event while we're plugging upcoming events, Paul?
Go right ahead.
For those who have not taken Wood Badge Adult Leader Training, Wood Badge is the premier adult leader training course for those who have taken position-specific training. Wood Badge is the next level of training. It takes place over 2 weekends. This year, those weekends are May 5th to the 7th and May 20th to the 21st, 2023. Wood Badge is going to take place at Henson Scout Reservation this year. Fee is $200 a person. You will not have a better experience in your scouting career than attending Wood Badge with your scouting fellow scouters from across the council. So there's information about it on the council's website. If you haven't considered it, please go and take a look. You will not regret it.
Okay. Well, I'll answer these questions real quick. Is there a fall camporee? I'm under the impression there is not, but some units have asked questions about it. So as the latest update that I have, the fall camporee is still scheduled for October 14th through the 16th at Dover Air Force Base. We're still waiting for permission from Dover Air Force Base to allow us to camp there. I say the Air Force Base. I think it's more the museum side, not actually on the base. I don't have a ton of information about it except October 14th to the 16th. We're still confirming our place to camp, $20 per person. And if we can't camp on the base or near the base, I think we'll open up acreage to camp there. Details are still being worked out. You should be getting a leader's guide, or leader's guide should be going up on the calendar, I want to say within the next week. So just keep an eye out on that. That's about all the information I have for a fall camporee right now. Can we mention the Whistler recognition and fundraiser event, please? October 1st. I believe that's the right date for the Whistler recognition and fundraiser events at Acreage. Dean, I don't know the answer to your question. I'm not sure, Robert, if you do. I'm just not that hip to program questions.
Can Webelos and AOL kids camp with BSA Troop? Yes, you need to still follow YPT policies, so you know they need to camp appropriately, but they can use it as a joining event. It's kind of a visit. Is that my understanding?
And they have to be sensitive to the time of year as well, right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Ray, for the correction. October 1st, Dover Elks Lodge, 4 p.m. Register at delmarvacouncil.org, WDW for the Whistler fundraiser event. Calendar restrictions for tent camping for AOLs. I don't think we are doing the calendar restrictions anymore. I won't answer that question because I don't know the correct answer to it. Patrick, I will follow up with you. Michael Omke will be the best person to answer that. So they can camp Friday and Saturday night.
Michael is on the, we can add him as a facilitator.
I'm not sure if Michael is able to talk, but if he, oh, there he is.
What's the question?
Are there calendar restrictions for tent camping for Arrow of Light?
Are there what restrictions?
Calendar restrictions. So before it was what, November 1st through April 15th?
There are no limitations from the National Council on when a pack can camp.
Thank you, Michael. For the AOLs, yes, they can camp Friday and Saturday nights. I have other events I want to promote, but there's so many questions. So I'm going to promote some events real quick before I answer any more questions. Our fall events, the other fall events that we have coming up, and we have a lot. October is a full month of events. So first plug I'll give out is just the third Saturday merit badge at Henson Reservation for all our Scout BSA members. Please take a look at those. We offer merit badges at Henson every third Saturday. In October, the first event that's on the calendar is the 2022 Cub Mobile Derby down in Chop Tank. It's in Cambridge, Maryland. It is open to all units, but it is in Cambridge, Maryland. So feel free, if you have a soapbox derby car that you'd like to race, feel free to go enter down and do the Cub Mobile Derby down there. Then we have our family adventure days. So they used to be called Cub Family Weekends. They're now called Family Adventure Days for two main purposes. One, the weekend is an option. So it's a day program that everybody will receive for $30 for scouts and $15 for new scouts and $10 for the adults. But the Family Adventure Day is open to the public. It is a bring a friend event. So if you're a scout, if your pack is going, or if your scout is going, bring a friend with you. There are different, let me pull up the note I just got. The activities are archery, BB guns, giant slingshots, so 3-man slingshots. There'll be nature, handicap, climbing. We have our portable climbing wall, so even Anchorage will have climbing this year. Fishing, scoutcraft, and just loads of fun. And it's more meant to be a fall adventure, a family adventure day. Bring the entire family out. Bring a friend with you. Have a great time. It will be weekend optional at both Anchorage and Rodney and Henson for an upgraded, for an extra $30. You can camp there Saturday nights, and they will feed you from Saturday lunch all the way through Sunday morning. So everything is up on the council, or no, by Labor Day, everything will be on the council calendar. You'll be able to click on there, register, see the prices. You can already see the prices on forum, but you'll be able to register come Labor Day. Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong if they're already live. Next on the in October, Jim talked about the Cub University. We also have IOLS and Baloo at Anchorage, IOLS and Baloo the first weekend in November at Rodney. So a lot of opportunities from programming to training, soapbox derby cars to what we call deliver the promise. We promise these new families, these new Cub Scouts, adventure, family fun, fun with a purpose. And these family adventure days is where they really get to experience that to begin with. Michael, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you covered it.
All right. Well, I'm going to go through some more questions. I ask that anybody who knows the answers, please answer them. Is there any thoughts on more training for Powderhorn? Leave no trace, maybe aquatic training? I don't know about that. The anonymous attendee, if you want to send a personal email to me, and I can follow up with you. Or I say to me, to myself and Michael Omke, I'll be letting Michael answer that one. I was told Webelos and AOL cannot camp November 1st or April 15th. That is no longer the case. Follow your safe scouting guidelines.
I think we should clarify that. I don't, I don't know that our council policy has changed. I think Michael was referencing the national policy. So I think we should clarify whether our council policy has changed. The national policy governs all councils, like Florida, where camping in January is not a problem. Our council had previously established months where Cub Scouts could not camp in winter months for their safety. And to the best of my knowledge, that has not changed. So I think we should clarify that before we proclaim it different. I think the link that Jim Deemy sent out is an accurate link. Which does indicate a November 1st to April 15th restriction period.
So it's a Delmarva Council policy.
Correct.
I don't know that is not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I'll leave that to our camping team. So there's a lot of questions about our AOLs and Weeblos allowed to go camping outside or between November 1st and April 15th. I guess that's a council policy that we will need to clarify. I don't know when that policy came into effect, but that's something that our program and camping committees will take a look at, and we will make sure we have a big, bold Facebook page ad on if that policy is still there or not. At this time, I guess it's on the website, so it's still there. The calendar has recently changed from Cub Family Weekends to Cub Adventure Days. Are there any details that you can share with us? Steve, I just did. Could you repeat that? I told me to the council that there were camping restrictions, so I'm confused. Yeah, I'm confused too. Camping restrictions as of right now, unless I don't know if there. We'll get back to you on the camping restrictions. So it looks like everything is next about the camping restrictions. Kurt Snyder asks, NYLT for troops, could it be done over weekends? I feel more training for youth on leadership would be helpful, and over weekend may be better attended. Thank you, Kurt. I don't know the answer to that either. Robert, Pat, I'm not sure if
It is something that we have tried a couple of times. I don't remember the last time we tried it on weekends, but it's really good feedback, Kurt. We'll pass it along to the NYLT team.
Yeah, policy. Okay. If there's no other questions.
Okay, so we have a giant to do to clarify the camping policy. Sorry, that was a little confusing. So we'll get that one. Thank you also, Todd, for the feedback about finding those policies on the website. Good feedback, just popping in there at the end. And also got a couple text-based feedback about things missing. It is a gift. Feedback from you is always a gift, Paul. Thank you very much. Or sorry, Todd. And also got some feedback about some of the things we were talking about not being on the calendar. So we'll look to make sure the calendar is updated as well. Thank you. Oh, one more question. Can 18-year-olds take a loo? Paul, do you happen to know the answer to that?
I don't.
Michael Umke, are you still within earshot? And do you happen to know the answer to that?
I believe they could, yes. Registered as like, I think assistant den leaders, or I don't know if they can do committee members, but I think it's assistant den leaders.
Okay, thank you. So there you have it, Paul. Excellent. So with that, I think we've gotten to the end of our questions. I'll turn it over to Robert for a Scout executive moment to close our call.
Thank you, Pat. As Pat had shared earlier, that I'm on vacation visiting family and friends, and as I visit with many of my family and friends, the question continues to come up as far as how Scouting is going. And just as a constant reminder, if you're on this call, you are inside the tent. And there are many people that are not Scouters, but they have a passion or care for us. But the impression outside is that we are a camping and hiking outdoor organization. And if you are on this call, you know that we are so much more than that. Teaching kids leadership, project management, values of the Scout Oath and Law, and that's really what our mission is. And if more people understood the bigger picture of what our program is versus just camping and hiking, I think we would do ourselves a major justice in growing our program and impacting the lives of young men and young women to live by the values of the Scout Oath and Law. So I'd like to advocate for all of us to use our voices to share with all the people that we know that Scouting is so much more than just camping, hiking, first aid. It is about the values. It is about the mission that we're doing and the project management, the leadership. I think if we had more kids involved in this program, we'd have a brighter future. We'd solve so many of the problems that we see in the social realm, and this isn't even get into politics. We do civics. And if every person lived by the Scout Oath and Law, we would live in quite a utopic society. So my encouragement is the membership is the main thing. Whatever we can do to encourage families, as Paul mentioned, we are for families today. Let's make that happen. Let's get kids and families involved in Scouting, living by the values of the Scout Oath and Law. I just want to emphasize and thank you all for the time and effort and commitment that you put into this program. I can't thank you enough on behalf of the Council of the Boy Scouts of America. We can't do this without you. And I believe we have a bright future ahead of us with the young men and young women that are turning out to become Eagle Scouts. And it's on our shoulders to make sure we grow this organization so that the next generation is even more ahead of us than we are right now. So again, thank you so much for everything that all of you are doing to make Scouting happen in your communities. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.